Thank you so much. So thank you for waiting. So we are ready to start now. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the EREMIN Joint Call 2023 launch webinar. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today and to present you this new funding opportunity for companies, universities, research institutes, and other organizations, the opportunity for them to propose research and innovation actions, project ideas at transnational level on this thematic area, raw materials for the sustainable development and the circular economy. Okay. Okay, so before we start, there is some guidelines. So the webinar will take around 2 hours. And for all attendees, the microphones are muted and the video cameras are turned off. So to ask a question, please use the questions box and we will try to answer it in writing or by the panelists, because we will have a dedicated session at the end of the webinar to answer the questions. If not, we can also answer by email. Okay. So before we start, I was curious to understand who is the new in these EREMIN calls. So if you could write on the chat that this is your first time that you are hearing about EREMIN calls, I think this will be interesting to understand if we have new people joining. So the agenda for today webinar, I will start with an introduction. And then we will hear about all the call documents needed for the submission of proposals and the evaluation procedure and selection procedures by our partner from Sweden. Then we will hear more details about the call scope and the 5 main topics and the subtopics, also from our partner from another partner from Sweden. Then we will have a short break. During the break, we will show the call videos and the testimonials of some project coordinators. And after the break, we will guide you through the electronic submission system and also through the online partnering search tool. And this will be presented by our partner from Germany. And then we will have this section. So save your questions, write on the chat on the questions box, and we will answer it at the end, and then we will close. So let's start. So my name is Dina Carrilho. I'm the coordinator of EREMIN 3 project. I'm based in Portugal, and I work for the Foundation for Science and Technology, which is the main funding agency of research in Portugal. So in my introduction, I will show you the EREMIN 3 consortium and objectives, the background, how EREMIN is contributing for the EU raw materials policies. I will also show this map of funded projects and the testimonials, the benefits indicated by the project coordinators. Then I will show you some statistics on the call 2019, because it's similar to this one now. And I will finalize presenting you the EREMIN calls. So ERENET means European Research Area Networks, and this is the only ERENET addressing raw materials. And we are, the ERENETs are public-public partnerships. So only funding organizations are partners in EREMIN. And as you see, the ERENETs and also now the co-funded European partnerships are networks that complement not only the national regional programs, because they work at transnational level, but also the other EU programs like Horizon Europe and also EIT raw materials. So the EREMIN Consortium is a pan-European network, 25 partners, 15 member states countries, 3 member states regions, 1 associated country, which is Turkey, and 3 countries outside Europe. So we have Brazil, the province of Quebec in Canada, and South Africa. And we have new partners compared to the previous project. So the EREMIN objectives have been since the beginning to contribute to secure the sustainable and responsible supply of non-food, non-fuel mineral raw materials in order to achieve a carbon neutral and a circular economy. So what we do is to coordinate funding, because we are a network of research funding organizations. And through this coordinated funding, we promote this worldwide collaboration between researchers. And by doing this, we try to reduce the fragmentation of research and innovation that already exists in Europe and also globally. So our main activity is to implement joint transnational calls in which the researchers can apply for funding. And by doing this, we support these transnational projects in partnership between universities and companies and other organizations. So since 2011, when the first EREMIN network started with 15 partners, after that, and this first network was coordinated by France. Then after that, in Horizon 2020, Portugal took the lead of this network, and we received 5 million euros from the Commission to support the project in the first call. And then now, at the moment, we have EREMIN 3, also with 5 million euros from the Commission to co-fund the research projects in the first call. So in total, 8 joint calls were implemented by these 3 networks, including this one now. So this paper is an open access paper that summarizes and celebrates the 10th anniversary of EREMIN. So you can read everything about these networks. In terms of EU raw materials policies, you see that with the first network, the EREMIN research agenda was elaborated and was a background document of the strategic implementation plan of the European Innovation Partnership on Raw Materials. And EREMIN is now a member of the high-level steering group. And after that, the EREMIN 2, the second project, addressed the circular economy aspects. And now, more recently, EREMIN 3 is willing to contribute also to the European Green Deal, to the Action Plan for Batteries, Action Plan on Critical Raw Materials. So you see these 3 networks supporting the mineral raw materials research community. We have achieved the funding of 79 funded projects through these joint transnational calls. And the public funding allocated to all these projects is around 60 million. Of course, with the present call that has already opened, we expect to fund more projects. So you see that with the 10 million euros contribution to the projects from the European Commission, we were able to fund 60 million projects, which means that the leverage effect of EREMIN is around 6. So I call your attention for this dashboard. So this is an interactive map of the funded projects. And as you can see, if you click on the country, you will know immediately how many projects were funded, in which category, and we have primary resources supply, secondary resources, others, design, public policy, and also substitution of critical raw materials. And you also can see that in terms of mineral category, 70% of our funded projects address ores and metals, 14% industrial minerals, and 10% construction materials. You can also search a project by keywords, and we see that the most addressed keywords are end of life and rare earth, with rare earth is addressed by 11 projects with funding of 6.7 million. And we also have, for example, batteries and lithium, and 9 projects addressing batteries, and with 6.3 million of public funding. But as you know, we have on our website all the project summaries and also the final reports of those projects of call, for example, call 2017 that have already ended. You see here some examples addressing primary and secondary resources. So this is very interesting to know from the project coordinators the benefits of joining a project like the one funded by Eramean. So you have almost 30 videos on the YouTube channel of Eramean 3. And also on the newsletter in July, you also have information and the link to go directly to these videos. And here I summarize the benefits that we have, the project coordinators have identified. So they say that these transnational projects allow for collaborations and collaborative research worldwide, is an excellent instrument to start international collaboration, gives access to international experts and to expertise that does not exist at national level, and then you can access the best expertise worldwide. And this also motivates small companies, allows the collaboration with large R&D centers. So this is 80% of our projects are usually academic and industrial partnerships. Some are also led by industrial partners. There is also an opportunity to exchange knowledge with more experienced institutions. We can support fundamental and applied science. There is an exchange knowledge. In terms of technology readiness level, this kind of projects allow the submission of risky projects, and also fundamental research, so low TRLs. And they also say that all TRLs and both upstream and downstream outcomes within a single action. This is possible in this Eramean project. In terms of procedures, because the projects are of smaller size, this is easier to build and also to manage. And the application, the selection, and also the monitoring procedures of Eramean are easier than European projects, and allows to address ambitious goals, but the consortium budgets are of small size. Well, and there are many other testimonials. As you can see, there is a good visibility for the projects. They can link Eramean projects with Horizon 2020 funded projects. They can benefit from collaboration within research infrastructures, support and fund PhD students, and also for companies is good for them to integrate with large companies and act and develop and give access to new markets. Okay, so for you to understand what we expect, well, what you can expect in this call, we can base on our experience in call 2019, which was also a call supported only with national and regional funds. And you see that the success rate was 32%, because 12 projects were funded out of 38 submitted proposals. Here are some examples of these projects that are still running. So the main characteristics are this is small consortia, usually between 3 and 9 partners, and involving 2 to 5 countries. In terms of budget, can be projects requesting only 0.25 million to up to 1.3 million euros of requested funding. 80% are academia industry projects. In terms of TRL, we see that start can be from 1 until 8, but in average, usually the projects are between 3 and 6. And the project's durations up to 36 months. So Eramean 3 has already implemented the first call in 2021, where we have supported 22 top quality projects. They have started in May and will last until 36 months. Now, today, we have just launched last week the second call and last EREMIN call. And this call will be implemented only with national regional funds and without any funding from the Commission, okay? So I invite you, of course, to collaborate with EREMIN, to promote synergies, to subscribe our newsletter, to follow us on YouTube and social media, Twitter and LinkedIn. And if you have any question, just contact us by email. So I finished my presentation, and now I have the pleasure to give the word to Mr. Tobias Kampman from Vinnova, Sweden, to introduce us all the call documents and submission, selection, and evaluation procedures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dina. Hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
My name is Tobias Kampman. I'm working for Vinnova, which is Sweden's innovation agency, and we are a partner in EREMIN since the beginning. I'm sitting here with my colleague Pontus Westrin, who will take you through the call topics in a bit. I'm here to introduce you to the proposal submission, evaluation and selection procedures, and all the call documents that you need to know about. At the moment, we have 23 participating funding organizations in this call, and all these organizations represent either nations or regions. As you can see in this list, we are based very much in the European Union, but we also have an EU associated country with us, Turkey, and also some countries outside of the European Union, which is Canada, Quebec, and South Africa. These countries put together the budget, which we call the virtual common pot of 13.6 million. This is a quick glance on the call topics for this call. We try to include all sustainability dimensions that we can see in the raw materials sector. And in this landscape, we defined 5 topics, and the idea is with every proposal has to include one main topic, and then each of these topics has also subtopics, and you can also select other subtopics apart from your main topic. One important criteria for you to get this funding is that you build a strong consortium, and the requirement here is that you have at least 3 partners from 3 different funding organizations participating in the call in your consortium. In order to help you with this, we set up the so-called EREMIN partner search tool. The link is here. By the way, the presentation will be shared in the chat for you to download, so you can follow the links. EREMIN partner search tool is an important tool. So if you are an idea holder and you need expertise, you can use this. But also, if you're not the idea holder, but you have expertise and know-how that can be used in other projects, you can offer your services here. And apart from that, we also have a LinkedIn group, and we have several initiatives here by the European Commission to try to search for partners. Please follow these links and get help to build your consortium. These 3 links in the upper side of the slide is the links to the electronic submission system for submission of proposals. There's a call website here, and there's also an email address to the Joint Call Secretariat, which is headed by Portugal FCT. And each of these 3 channels will lead you to the necessary documents. So you have on the left side here, you have 3 important call documents that you need to study carefully before you start writing your proposal: the call text, guide for proposal submission and the FAQs. And when you feel ready, you can start filling in the templates, Form A, B, C, CV template, financial plan, and Gantt chart. Sounds complicated, but it's quite simple. Some key dates here, call calendar, very important. We opened this call, just as Dina said last week, 7th of December. We're going to close the call 30th of March 2023, followed by eligibility checks and evaluation proposals. And then we will let you know if you have been selected latest October 17th, 2023, with projects starting latest April 1st, 2024. Important to get to know is your respective national contact point, NCP. So we have, of course, a central Aramin organization, but the important thing is that the funding in the end that you will receive if your project has been selected will come from the national or regional funders themselves. So it's very important to get to know your national contact point at these funding organizations. And there's in the call text, there's a table about this. It's called Table 1 on page 5 and 6 that you can consult. And it's important to get to know your national rules, because there might be national rules and restrictions that you have to follow if you want to get money from that particular funder. I included the list here. It's small to read, but here are all your the organizations, the countries and regions, and all the names of the contact persons, and also the budget included. So this is table 1 of the call text. Table 2 of the call text summarizes possible topic restrictions when it comes to the individual funding organizations. It's just an excerpt from this. You see, for example, that Belgium Wallonia region here invites proposals in all the 5 topics, but there might be some restrictions, as in this example here in Canada, which does not support topic 4 and has some restrictions on topic 2 and 5. So it's important to read the national annexes and the national regulations, so you make sure that you build the right consortium and you do the eligible research. Finally, table 3 here summarizes for all the funding organizations the type of research and the type of entities that they support, and there might also be restrictions there, so be careful. And all of these individual national annexes you can find in the as an appendix to the call text. Here's an example of a table like this. You will find a table like this for every funding organization that is part of this call. Here's I inserted the one for Sweden, and here you have all the information for specifically for researchers and people interested from Sweden. So what happens once you submitted a proposal here? There are certain eligibility criteria that we want you to follow. I have some examples here of important ones. I already went into the 3 partners requirement, 3 partners from 3 countries participating in the call as a minimum. One of these has to be a new member state or an associated country. You need to be careful to, apart from the Aramin regulations, you also need to follow the national and regional regulations here. That's important. Then we open also up for organizations outside of the call, but they need to cover their own project costs. So they need to give us evidence that they have the required funding here. And then project duration between 12 and 36 months in this case. once you went through this eligibility check and you're being cleared, then your proposal will go to a scientific evaluation board of independent international experts that will evaluate your proposal according to 3 main criteria: scientific excellence, impact, and quality of the implementation. The projects that are recommended by this panel for funding will go back to the national funding organizations, and where we make a selection, a final selection, and then these projects will be sent back to their respective national funders to commence the process of agreements and so on. And then the projects start, of course, latest, as I said, April 1st, 2024. So we open up for essentially all legal entities here, as you can see on the left side, to apply. Encourage especially industries and public authorities to do so. And the eligible research from an ERAMIN perspective is 1 to 9, but you need to check your national regional rules and be careful to follow them as well. Final slide from my side, some tips based on some testimonials that we got from successful applicants from previous calls. Just to summarize here a few, it's important to make an impactful and scientifically excellent research question, an innovation question. To build your consortium at an early stage is very important, and the tools that I summarized will help you with this. We're doing research and innovation in ERAMIN, and a wise man once said to me that research, it's about essentially taking money and making knowledge out of it, and innovation is essentially taking knowledge and making money out of it. So you need to address these two sides here if you want to do research and innovation. Have important research questions and the research frontier in mind, but also think about the industrial needs here when you want to receive funding from ERAMIN. It's very important. My final slide before I give over voice to my colleague Pontus here. Please get involved, contact us. You see some contact details for the Joint Call Secretariat here. Dina and Stefano especially are key people here. Please submit an application if you are a research performance organization. We're looking forward to your contribution. And if you decide not to do this, then you're welcome to apply as a reviewer for the expert panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tobias. I'll continue just where Tobias left off. As he said, I'm Pontus Westerin. I'm a geoscientist working at Vinnova in Sweden together with Tobias on ERAMIN. And I will try to show you a bit more and give you a bit more insight on the call topics that we have updated for this call. So of course, the theme for this call is raw materials for sustainable development and the circular economy. As you know, we are looking for needs-driven research and innovation on non-fuel, non-food raw materials, i.e. minerals and metals extracted from primary and secondary sources. We hope that you will answer one or several of the call topics that I will show. It could be a technical project, it could be a non-technical project, but every project needs to deliver convincing argument on the potential impact of your innovation and research, because you will be going through the external evaluation, of course. So, of course, I put in a picture of the Sustainable Development Goals here, and just for they are very illustrative, so I will show a bit more there, but of course you need to take into account the European Green Deal and all of the other mentions that are in the call text. again, also to the core topics that we also have additional focus areas on critical raw materials to secure a supply of primary raw materials, on digitalization and social and environmental sustainability. So those are overlapping the core topics, basically, which you can read about in the core text. So the updated topics that we have since the last call, they are pretty similar, but a bit maybe a bit easier for you to understand this time, we hope. So topic 1 is a supply of raw materials from exploration to mining. Topic 2, the strengthening of the circular economy. Topic 3, processing and production and ICT. Topic 4 on environmental assessment, climate and policy development for sustainability, and topic 5, social sustainability in health, safety and public perception. And basically what we mean by this is that topic 1 covers the primary raw materials, topic 2 would cover the secondary raw materials, and topic 3 will be more downstream and higher up in the value chain, so the production side of everything, while topic 4 and topic 5 would answer more of a systems-wide approach, so basically going through all of the other sectors. And if we look at the next slide, just to give you more illustration on this, would be in a very easy sense would be to say that topic 1, 2, and 3 would be economic operations, basically industries and sectors working with economic sustainability. And topic 5 would answer to the societal questions that are around everything. And topic 4 would be the environmental side, looking at the sustainable development goals. But again, all of the topics should of course address all of the challenges that we have during this day and age. So yeah, we are going to look a bit more closely on the topics, each and one of them, and the subtopics of course, but keep this in mind when you write your proposal. Topic 1, again, the primary side of everything, we are looking for mostly innovative projects along the mining cycle. So again, looking at the subtopics you see on screen would be the innovative exploration methods, there will be sustainable mining operations, improved environmental management of mines, efficient mineral processing and metallurgy, and lastly, mine closure, remediation and remining of tailings and waste rock. And this would be pretty clear, I hope, but to give you some fictional ideas, these are not final or anything, they're just examples for you to get a sense of things that we might look to find in this topic. It could be an industry-driven technical research on passive water treatment for mine water, could fall under 1.3, for example, or mine closure planning in practice together with some local communities, falling under 1.5 perhaps, maybe even working with other topics such as topic 5 on that one. So we invite people to of course work with a primary topic, but you can also look into answering more of the topics and finding certain synergies between the topics. And in some cases we actually have organizations that are working with Eramin that request that you work with certain topics together, which is something you can look into in the context. So going further to topic 2, to strengthen the circular economy, we again look at the secondary raw materials and more reuse, repair and recycling. So it could be product design, for example, substitution, end-of-life products, pre-processing, so collection and logistics and everything that happens before the actual recycling in that industry. We are looking at reuse, repair, refurbishing, and so on, remanufacturing of end-of-life products. It could be recovery and urban mining of certain raw materials from end-of-life products. Life cycle analysis, of course, is very important, connected to all of this, and new business models will be extremely important going forward. So again, some fictional examples here would be innovative ways to extract critical raw materials from a waste stream. It could be SMEs that collaborate on business models that could be standardized to improve profitability here, but generally working with this with an industrial focus towards strengthening the circular economy. So moving on to topic 3, it would be processing, production, ICT. So here we are looking more to stronger resource efficiency within the production sector. Again, another industrial sector, and the subtopics here are a bit fewer, but possibilities are endless, I would say. So increase the resource efficiency in resource-intensive production processes, or increase the resource efficiency, recycling and reuse of products using information and communication technologies. Basically, any type of digitalization tools or others. So fictional examples here would be maybe techniques to maximize recycling of lost materials in certain production or processing steps, or, for example, digitalization and AI as methods to find new ways to increase resource efficiency of critical raw materials within the production sector. So moving on to maybe the 2 topics 4 and 5 that are a bit new to Eramin, but we hope that we can explain well to you so that you find projects that fit well into these topics. Here we have environmental assessment, climate and policy development for sustainability, working mostly with environmental sustainability along the whole system. The subtopics are called improvement of methods and data for environmental, social and health impact assessment, policy development for primary and secondary raw materials industry, and energy saving and climate action. So again, looking at all of the other sectors that work with raw materials, this could mean in fictional example projects, for example, new methods and standards for assessment of ecological impact of dust and other emissions to the environment, maybe in relation to a recycling plant, a mining operation, or any other type of operation. It could be policy labs and input for decision makers on legal obstacles for recycling industry is a big thing happening right now for profitability along the whole system. And basically anything that happens that could relate to environmental sustainability. There are more examples within the call text in one of the annexes. And lastly, topic 5 on social sustainability in health, safety and public perception. And here we look to add more additional focus on prevention of negative effects on, for example, communities, while increasing and highlighting the societal benefit of the industries. So the subtopics would be social acceptance and trust, public perception of the raw materials industry. So basically working with the social sustainability side of the whole raw material industry. It could be health and safety issues, not only within the actual operations themselves for the workers, but also for close by communities and others affected by these industries. And also, of course, gender equality in the raw material sector. Again, outside and inside of the sector. Fictional examples could be increasing the trust in industrial activities through collaboration with certain NGOs, for example, or communities. It could be innovation that reduce the health impacts on communities, for example, related to water, vibrations, or dust, and work towards higher social sustainability within the sector. Again, I implore you to look at the call text. I'll remind you again that there's an annex where you can see more examples on every single subtopic and more information on the topics themselves. But we hope that this will be simple enough for you to link your to link your project and your idea to these topics, and otherwise ask questions in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pontus. So we are on time. We are 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes more before the break. Maybe in the meantime we could answer some questions, since we still have time, concerning the topics. Is there any question about the topic? So there was here one question about if a project proposal have to contain topics eligible for all partners. So my advice was to check the table 2 of call text, in which you have the topics supported by the different funding organizations, and also read the appendix 4 of the funding organizations. And so in principle, yes, in order to avoid the rejection of the proposal, because as you know, the proposal will only be eligible overall if the proposal is eligible for all the funding organizations involved. But sometimes it could happen that a consortium partner address a topic, a subtopic, for example, that is not eligible for another funding organization. But if the proposal is very clear and everything is very clear that that subtopic will be only addressed by that partner and not by the whole project, maybe this could be accepted. But my advice to you is really to contact the national contact point of your funding organization and discuss all these topics with them, to ensure that before you submit a proposal, that project idea meets the strategic priorities of that funding organization. So this is really my advice to all of you. Call your NCP and discuss with him, with her, your idea, and make sure that they consider eligible the proposal overall, okay? Not only your activities in the project, but also the overall project idea. So, any other questions? Yes, so we will make the material available after the session. Yes, I think we can share the PowerPoint, and we will try to also to make the videos available, but maybe only from January. Okay. Okay, I'm going just to pick up one more question here. About it says that in call documents, so the call text on page 5, it is announced that project should have TRL 5 at start. So maybe there is a misunderstanding here, because as we told you, the project in EREMIN can cover between TRL 1 and 9. So in principle, EREMIN is not restricting the TRLs, so only the funding agencies at national, regional level can establish different limits. That's why it's important to check the table 3, in which you see which is the start TRL and the end TRL that each funding organization is supporting. Okay, so maybe what you mean by this is that we are saying that I told you in the beginning that EREMIN calls are complementary to EIT raw materials calls, because EIT raw materials can fund projects with start TRL of 5, right? And Eramean can support projects with start TRL below 5. So that's why we can complement each other. So Eramean could support projects more fundamental that could be then be funded later on through EIT raw materials to achieve higher TRLs and the market. So this will be a good approach. But as I told you, for example, in call 2019, the projects addressed TRLs between 1 and 8, and in average between 3 and 7. So to answer you, TRL 5 is not the TRL start for Eramean projects. Okay, can be from TRL 1. So, but you need to check with your funding organization. Okay, thank you very much. So we are now on time for a short break. But before you go for a break, we just ask you to see the Eramean Call 2023 promotion video, and also some videos of the project coordinators of funded projects, where they show us the benefits and tips to submit a successful proposal to Eramean calls. Thank you.
Eramean 3 is a global network that coordinates research and innovation programs on non-fuel and non-food raw materials. On December the 7th, 2022, a new call for transnational R&I proposals opens to finance new transnational projects with a budget of more than €12.6 million. Proposals must be related to any of these topics. Supply of raw materials from exploration mining, strengthening the circular economy including substitution of critical raw materials, processing, production and ICT, environmental assessment, climate and policy development for sustainability, and social sustainability in health, safety and public perception. What do we fund? Needs-driven research covering the whole TRL spectrum. Who can apply? Companies, research organisations and other public entities. Centralised independent evaluation, following the same evaluation criteria of Horizon 2020. To participate, it is necessary to form a minimum consortium of 3 partners requesting funding from 3 different participating countries named in the call, whereof at least 1 is an EU member state, or an associated country participating in the call. At least half of the partners must belong to participating countries, comply with the financial regulations of each country or region, justify own funds in case of not requesting funding, a project duration of 12 to 36 months. Note down the key dates of the call in your calendar and bear in mind that your project should start no later than April the 1st, 2024. Get in touch with us.